Welcome to my channel Education by Haneet. So children, today we'll be covering our second chapter, which is the tsunami. Okay. Now this chapter will be highlighting a major incident was a devastating tsunami which occurred on 26 December 2004, okay, in the Indian Ocean, and how it destroyed the life of people. So we will be reading about this in this story, okay. Now some main characters of the story are Ignatius. Ignatius was a person, he was a manager of a cooperative society, and how he lost his family and only two of his children were saved. Okay, he lost his wife and two other children. Okay, then we'll be talking about a policeman whose name is Sanjeev. Okay, how he saved others and how he managed to save his wife and his daughter. Okay, then we'll also be talking about a 13-year-old Meghna. Okay, how she suffered from all this incident and how she saved herself by just holding a wooden door. Okay, then fourth is the story of Almar's Javed family. Okay, so we will be also going through it, and also Tilly Smith. Tilly Smith, we will be talking about the story of Tilly Smith as well. Okay, a boy named Tilly Smith. Now, before starting the chapter, let's do this before you read section. Okay, this one. So here they are saying, before you read, now look at the map of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands here, right? See here, you will see this map. See, this is very clear. They are showing you all these things here, and we have to answer these some questions here. So now read the sentences below, rewrite the incorrect ones after correcting the mistakes. Now first one, Kachal is an island. So if you will scroll here, see, yes, so you can see Kachal is an island. Okay, here you can see Nicobar Island. So this is correct. So I am writing C for correct. Okay, so I am writing C for correct. Now the second one, it is a part of Andaman group of islands. Now you can clearly see that this is a part, Kachal is a part of Nicobar Islands. Okay, so this is incorrect. Okay, so incorrect. I for incorrect. Okay. Then third one, Nankauri is an island in the Nicobar group. So Nankauri, yes, it is an island in the Nicobar group. Okay. Then this one is also correct. So you will write here C. Okay. Then fourth one, Kachal and Nankauri are more than 100 miles apart. And now you have to also see the scale of the map. Now if you will see the scale of the map, so you can see this much long line is 70 miles. And if you will see here, Kachal and Nankauri, they are very close. Okay, so this is incorrect. This statement is incorrect. Okay, so incorrect. Now fifth one. Sorry. The Andaman and Nicobar Islands are to the west of India. So if you remember the map, so Andaman and Nicobar Islands are to the east of India. Okay, so this is incorrect, right? Then sixth one, the Nicobar Islands are to the north of the Andaman Islands. So if you will see here, so Nicobar Islands are to the south. Okay, so this one is also incorrect. Now let's proceed to the chapter, the next page. Now what is a tsunami? A tsunami is a very large and powerful wave caused by earthquakes under the sea. So this is also a kind of earthquake which occurs under the sea. Okay. Normally earthquakes, you are aware that they occur on the ground, but no, or inside the earth crust, right? But this tsunami, it occurs under the sea. This is also a kind of earthquake. Okay. So we are talking about a major tsunami which occurred on 26 December 2004. A tsunami hit Thailand and parts of India such as the Andaman and Nicobar Islands and the Tamil Nadu coast. Now here are some stories of courage and survival. Now they are also asking, did animals sense that a tsunami was coming? Some stories suggest that they did, yes. So animals have that power to they have that intuitive power in themselves. They can sense this. Okay, they can sense some mishappening is going to happen. Okay, so yes, they can sense tsunami, they can sense earthquakes, right? They have that inbuilt power in them. Now let's go through our chapter. So these stories are all from the Andaman and Nicobar archipelago. Now what is archipelago? Archipelago is a group of many islands, and the surrounding sea. Okay, so we'll be talking about the areas surrounding the Andaman and Nicobar archipelago. Okay, now Ignatius was a person. He was a manager of a cooperative society in Catchall. His wife woke him up at 6 a.m. because she felt an earthquake. Ignatius carefully took his television set off its table and put it down on the ground so that it would not fall and break. Then the family rushed out of the house. Now, he was a manager of a cooperative society that I've already told you. His wife, she felt that earthquake. So she asked him to wake him. She asked his husband to wake, and she told that there is an earthquake. Okay. So what he did was he quickly wake up and he kept his television on the ground. उसने क्या किया, अपना टीवी उठाकर ग्राउंड पे रखा because टीवी गिर सकता था, right, earthquake से. So और ये सुबह 6 बजे हुआ, 6 in the morning, 6 a.m. in the morning. Okay. Then he quickly took his television set off its table and put it down on the ground so that it will not fall and break. Then the family rushed out of the house. Then he took his family and they immediately evacuated the house. Okay. When the tremors stopped, they saw the sea rising. In the chaos and confusion, tremors means a slight shaking. Okay, or tremors, the earth shaking during an earthquake. And what is chaos? Complete confusion, disorder. हलचल मच जाती है ना एकदम से जब earthquake आता है, सब लोग अपने घरों से निकल के बाहर खुली जगह पे जाना चाहते हैं. That is chaos and confusion. So in the chaos and confusion, two of his children caught hold of the hand of their mother's father and mother's brother and rushed in the opposite direction. He never saw them again. His wife was also swept away. Only the three other children who came with him were saved. So what happened here? As soon as the earthquake came to rest, जैसे ही earthquake रुक गया, but the sea began to rise. ठीक है, sea का water level बढ़ने लगा. So out of sheer chaos, confusion, disorder, two of his children held hands with their mother's father and mother's brother. So the two children who were holding the hand of their mother's father, means Nana ji and Mama, they ran in the opposite direction. And what happened in the opposite direction? They were swept away by the waves. Okay, and his wife also, she was swallowed with the waves. The waves swallowed her. Right. In the end, only he and his three children who stayed with him were saved. Okay. Also, Ignatius and his three children were saved. Okay. Now another person, Sanjeev. Sanjeev was a policeman serving in the Catchall Island of the Nicobar group of islands. He somehow managed to save himself, his wife and his baby daughter from the waves. But then he heard cries for help from the wife of John, the guest house cook. Sanjeev jumped into the water to rescue her, but they were both swept away. Now what happened? Another set is of Sanjeev, a policeman, who was serving in the Catchall Island of the Nicobar group of islands. Okay, so he somehow managed to save his wife and his baby daughter from those waves. But just some time later, he heard the cries for help from the wife of John, who was a guest house cook. Okay. Then Sanjeev jumped into the water to rescue her, but they were both swept away. Okay. So he was not able to save her. Now comes 13-year-old Meghna, was swept away along with her parents and 77 other people. She swept 2 days floating in the She spent 2 days floating in the sea, holding on to a wooden door. 11 times she saw relief helicopters overhead, but they did not see her. She was brought to the shore by a wave and was found walking on the seashore in a daze. Okay. Now, this is another set of Meghna. She was a 13-year-old girl who was also swept away along with her parents and 77 other people. Now she spent 2 days floating in the sea because she was so brave, she was so daring, she has that willpower to survive. So she did not give up. Okay. So she spent 2 days floating in the sea, holding on to just a wooden door, and she survived herself. 11 times she saw relief helicopters overhead. Relief helicopters were all over there to rescue people, but they were not able to see her because she didn't have something to signal them. Okay. So she was brought to the shore by a wave. Suddenly a big wave came and she was brought to the shore and was found walking on the seashore in a daze. What is daze? Daze is a state of stunned confusion. She was confused. Her parents were not there. She was totally in a confused state. Okay. And she was also shocked. But what happened actually, right? एकदम से अगर कुछ ऐसे होता है तो एक shocking जो state होती है, she was in that state. Okay. Now another person, let's see. Almas Javed was 10 years old. Now this is a boy, Almas Javed. She was a she was a student. She's a girl. Almas Javed was 10 years old. She was a student of Carmel Convent in Port Blair, where her father had a petrol pump. Her mother Rahila's home was in Nancowdy Island. The family had gone there to celebrate Christmas. Now, this Almas Javed, she was a 10-year-old girl whose father owned a petrol pump in Port Blair. Okay, there she studied at the Carmel Convent, the school name. Then family had come to her mother's home in Nancowdy Island where this happened, an island in the central part of Nicobar Islands, okay, to celebrate Christmas. Now, when the tremors came early in the morning, the family was sleeping. Alma's father saw the sea water recede. Recede means move back from where it was, okay? He understood that the water would come rushing back with a great force. He woke everyone and tried to push them to a safer place. Now, what happened on the day of that disaster? The whole family was sleeping when these tremors came early in the morning. It was only when Alma's father saw the seawater move back. Now, when the seawater moves back, then it again comes with a great force. Okay, so he anticipated that it would now come back with an unusually great force and with a devastating force, and that happened. He immediately woke everyone and hurried them to a secure place out of the harm's way. Okay, out of the waves, or you can say out of the harmful way. As they ran, her grandfather was hit on the head by something and he fell down. Her father rushed to help him. Then came the first giant wave that swept both of them away. Alma's mother and aunt stood clinging to the leaves of a coconut tree, calling out to her. A wave uprooted the tree and they too were washed away. Now, what happened as they went out from their home? Alma's grandfather got hit by something and he fell down. In an attempt to give him a hand, Alba's father ran towards him. Now, as the first enormous wave came, it took both of them with it. Okay. Now, both of them were swept away with the wave. Alba's mother and her aunts held on to the leaves. They were just clinging. वो ऐसे पकड़कर उसको लटक रही थी coconut tree को, okay, calling for her, calling for Almas. A strong wave, then suddenly a strong wave came and took them with it too, as it uprooted the tree of the ground. मतलब वो tree ही पूरा वेव के साथ बह गया, uproot हो गया. Okay. Alma saw a log of wood floating. She climbed onto it. Then she fainted. When she woke up, she was in a hospital in Kemorta. Okay. From there, she was brought to Port Blair. The little girl does not want to talk about the incident with anyone. She was still traumatized. Now, what happened? When all this thing happened, when her father and her grandfather were swept away by the waves, and aunts also, and her mother as well. So she quickly climbed. She saw a log of wood floating, so she climbed on the log of wood, and then as soon as she climbed on that log of wood, she fainted. Then, when she regained consciousness, when she was again conscious, she found herself in a hospital in Kemota, an island in Nicobar. Okay. The girl was brought to Port Blair and she was deeply shocked by the incident. She even did not want to talk about it. कहते हैं ना कि वो इतनी ज़्यादा शॉक में हो गई थी वो सब देख के, क्योंकि उसने अपनी आंखों से अपने फादर को ऐसे बहते हुए देखा, अपनी मदर को ऐसे बहते हुए देखा. तो she was very distressed to the extent that she did not want to even discuss what happened with anyone. Okay, she doesn't want to even talk. Traumatized means greatly shocked and distressed. Okay, now let's do this comprehension check before proceeding. Now say whether the following are true or false. So Ignatius lost his wife, 2 children, his father-in-law and his brother-in-law in the tsunami. So this is true, right? This one is true. Sanjeev made it to safety after the tsunami. Yes, true. Sanjeev was saved. His family, his wife and his baby daughter was also saved. Third, Meghna was saved by a relief helicopter. No, Meghna was not saved by a relief helicopter. She was swept away by a wave on the shore and then she was saved. Then Alma's father realized that a tsunami was going to hit the island. Yes, true. So fourth one is true. Meghna one is false. Third one is false. Okay. Then fifth one, her mother and aunts were washed away with the tree that they were holding on to. This is true. Yes. So all are true only. Third one is false. Okay. And don't worry if you're not able to understand the writing. I will post this exercise in a different video as well. Okay. So you can copy from there. Now comes the next part of the chapter. Tilly Smith, a British schoolgirl, was able to save many lives when the tsunami struck Phuket Beach in Thailand. Though she has won a number of awards, her parents have not allowed their daughter to be interviewed on television and made into a heroine. Why do you think they took a decision? So, according to me, Tilly Smith's parents decided not to allow her to be interviewed or turn into a media heroine because they wanted to protect her well-being, okay, and maintain a sense of normalcy in life. Normalcy means उनको लगता था कि वो ग्राउंडेड रहे हमेशा, वो फोकस्ड रहे दूसरों की हेल्प करने में, ठीक है। एक बारी हेल्प करने से उसको हीरोइन बनाने से हो सकता है वो आगे लोगों की हेल्प ना करे, मतलब उसको उनको ये लगता था कि ये नॉर्मल रहे लाइक एनी अदर चाइल्ड, एंड उसको ये हमेशा ये रखना चाहिए कि मैं ऑब्लाइज हूँ दूसरों की हेल्प करने के लिए, ठीक है। दूसरों की हेल्प करना उसका एक ऑब्लिगेशन है, उसका एक फ़र्ज़ है, ठीक है। उसके लिए हमेशा उसको अवार्ड मिले ऐसा ज़रूरी नहीं है, ठीक है। सो दे wanted to shield her from the pressure and scrutiny of the media at a very young age, okay. That is why they want her to concentrate on her studies and not to be a heroine, okay. Now let's see the story. Now here is a story from Thailand. The Smith family from southeast England were celebrating Christmas at a beach resort in southern Thailand. Tilly Smith was a 10-year-old schoolgirl. Her sister was 7-year-old. Their parents were Penny and Colin Smith. Now they are telling about her family. It was 26 December 2004. Deadly tsunami waves were already on their way. They had been triggered by a massive earthquake of northern Sumatra earlier that morning. The water was swelling and kept coming in. Penny Smith remembered. The beach was getting smaller and smaller. I didn't know what was happening. Okay. Now what happened was the family, Tilly Smith's family was from southeast England, and this tsunami, this devastating tsunami, it hit areas of Thailand as well. Okay, so now this family was celebrating Christmas at a beach resort. What is a resort? A place where people go on holiday. Okay, so parents Penny and Colin Smith had two daughters. We all already discussed this. Tilly Smith, a 10-year-old schoolgirl, and the other one was 7-year-old. So on this day, on 26 December, had already experienced an earthquake in the morning. Now, deadly tsunami was on its way because the waves were already on their way. They have been triggered by a massive earthquake. Triggered means that it was caused by a sudden violent reaction. Okay, undersea earthquake, and they had been triggered by a massive earthquake of northern Sumatra earlier that morning. So they had already experienced that earthquake. Okay. So now the tsunami was on its way. Penny Collin remembers seeing the water swelling as it kept coming in and making the beach smaller. मतलब वो जो पानी था वो सब अंदर आ रहा था, घरों में शहरों में आ रहा था, और बीच छोटे होते जा रहे थे क्योंकि बीच का सारा पानी अब शहरों में और घरों में आने लग गया था. She says she did not understand what was happening. Okay. But Tilly Smith sensed that something was wrong. Her mind kept going back to a geography lesson she had taken in England just 2 weeks before she flew out to Thailand with her family. Tilly saw the sea slowly rise and start to foam, bubble, and form whirlpools. She remembered that she had seen this in class in a video of tsunami that had hit the Hawaii Islands in 1946. Her geography teacher had shown her class the video and told them that tsunamis can be caused by earthquakes, volcanoes, and landslides. Okay, now Tilly Smith, this girl, she knew something that she knew that something was wrong. Okay, something was wrong. She could recollect because she had studied about tsunami in a geography class just 2 weeks earlier in England. Okay, before she came on this vacation, as she saw the seawater rising and forming whirlpools. Okay, whirlpools is quickly rotating mass of water in a river. Okay, and this is how this is typically caused by the meeting of conflicting currents. Okay, sea currents, wave currents. So As she saw the seawater rising and forming whirlpools, she recalled what she had seen in her class in a video. Okay, so it was a video of a tsunami that had hit the Hawaii Islands in 1946. Same, it was happening there in that video. The teacher also told them the causes of tsunamis, which can be earthquakes, volcanoes, and landslides. So now she was recollecting her information which she had about tsunami. So Tilly started to scream at her family to get off the beach. She talked about an earthquake under the sea. She got more and more hysterical. Hysterical means when you are hysterical when you shout, laugh or cry in a wild, excited way without any control over yourself. मतलब वो जोर जोर से चिल्लाने लगे डर के मारे. She was not able to control her emotions, so that is being hysterical. Okay. She got more and more hysterical, said her mother Penny. I didn't know what a tsunami was, but seeing my daughter so frightened, I thought something serious must be going on. Okay. Now, as soon as she realized what was happening, she started shouting hysterically at her family to get away from the beach because they were on a beach. And if on beach, that was more harmful. Her mother then later said that she was referring to some earthquake under the sea and she got terrified and uncontrollable. Okay. Penny said that she did not know what a tsunami was, but seeing her daughter so terrified, she could anticipate that the situation was grave. तो उसकी मम्मा को इतना आइडिया नहीं था सुनामी क्या है, बट सीइंग हर डॉटर जब उसकी उन्होंने देखा कि उसकी डॉटर कितनी ज़्यादा डरी हुई है, ठीक है, तो उनको लगा कि ये सिचुएशन कुछ ज़्यादा बुरी होगी, मतलब इतनी कोई बहुत बड़ी बात होगी तभी वो ऐसा बिहेव कर रही है, ठीक है. तो उन्होंने थोड़ा सा उस पर रिएक्ट करना शुरू किया कि जो ये कह रही है ये करना चाहिए, ठीक है. सो टिलीज पेरेंट्स टुक हर एंड हर सिस्टर अवे फ्रॉम द बीच टू द स्विमिंग पूल एट द होटल. A number of other tourists also left the beach with them. Then it was as if the entire sea had come out after them. I was screaming, "Run!" The family took refuge in the third floor of the hotel. The building withstood the surge of 3 tsunami waves. If they had stayed on the beach, they would not have been alive. Okay. So, what happened was here. Now, Tilly's parents took their daughters to the hotel swimming pool to get away from the beach. So they went to that hotel swimming pool at the hotel. A number of other tourists also left the beach with them. When she was being hysterical at the beach, so other people also left with them. So they saw the great waves coming after them, and if is what the whole sea had come out. Okay, पूरी इतनी ज़्यादा उनको अपने पीछे जब उन्होंने मुड़ के देखा तो उन्होंने देखा कि कितनी तेजी से वेव्स उनके पीछे आ रहे थे जैसे पूरा सी ही आ गया हो, ठीक है. Penny screamed for everyone to run out of the dangerous way. They took shelter on the third floor of the hotel. The hotel building survived 3 tsunami waves. She further added that they wouldn't have been able to come out alive if they were on the beach. अगर वो उस बीच पे रह गए होते और एकदम से टाइम से नहीं निकले होते तो वो आज बचे नहीं होते, ठीक है, उस टाइम पर वो वहाँ जिंदा नहीं होते. Then the Smiths later met other tourists who had lost entire families. Thanks to Tilly and her geography lesson that they have been forewarned. Tilly went back to her school in England and told her classmates her terrifying tale. Okay, now refuge means shelter or protection from danger. Okay. Withstood means endured without collapsing. Then surge if you will call force, momentum. Okay. So the Smiths later met other tourists who had lost their families, means now later when they were, after the incident happened, when they were safe. So before the giant wave slab, when they later got the chance of meeting other tourists who had lost their entire families during the tsunami. Okay. Now all credit goes to Tilly here and her geography lesson that she had studied in her school and which forewarned other people. Forewarn means inform someone of possible danger at the right time. Okay. Tilly later he told that incident to her classmates in England. And then she came back and she told this terrifying tale to her classmates as well. Now let's do this comprehension check. Answer the following in a phrase or sentence. Why did Tilly's family came to Thailand? So Tilly's family come to Thailand to celebrate Christmas at a beach resort. Okay. Second question. What were the warning signs that both Tilly and her mother saw? So the warning signs that they saw was the sea was slowly rising, swelling and starting to foam and bubble, forming whirlpools as well. So beach was getting smaller and smaller and whirlpools were forming in the water. Okay. Then third question, do you think Tilly's mother was alarmed by them? So if we will talk initially, so we'll say no. She was, because she was not aware of what tsunami is, so she was not that alarmed. But as soon as Tilly started to scream, she became hysterical. That seriously alarmed her mother, and then they both were saved. Okay, by that. So yes, Tilly's mother was alarmed later on after her reaction. Where had Tilly seen the sea behaving in the same strange fashion? In a video in her class, right? So Tilly has seen the sea behaving in this way in a video shown by a geography teacher in school. The video was about a tsunami that had hit the Hawaii Islands in 1946. Okay. Then the next question, 5. Where did the Smith family and the others on the beach go to escape from the tsunami? So the Smith family and the other tourists, they escaped to the third floor of the hotel, which was able to withstand the force of the tsunami waves 3 times, right? Then sixth question, how do you think her geography teacher felt when he heard about what Tilly had done in Phuket? So according to me, the teacher felt immensely proud of her, right? And relieved that the lesson which was taught to her actually helped her, right? Actually helped her save her life, her family's life, and other people's life as well. Okay. Now the third part. Look carefully at the picture of the boy and his dog and try to describe the things that you see using just words and phrases. Either the teacher or one of the students can write down the words and phrases on the blackboard. Now this is how you can start. Calm, blue sea, ruined huts. Okay. So along with calm, blue sea, ruined huts, we can add sandy shore, right? Then debris all around, quiet atmosphere, the young boy sitting on a bench, dog is sitting on his lap nearby, then clear sky, sparse vegetation, then peaceful empty beach, wreckage from a disaster if you look here, right? Then thoughtful solitary boy, loyal pet dog, silence, a deep silence, desolated beach, broken planks, small lonely figure, sun drenched ruins. Okay, so and many more you can add yourself. Then here, let's start. Before the giant waves slammed into the coast of India and Sri Lanka, violent domestic animals seemed to know what was about to happen. They fled to safety. According to eyewitness accounts, elephants screamed and ran for higher ground. Dogs refused to go outdoors. Flamingos abandoned their low-lying breeding areas, and zoo animals rushed into the shelters and could not be enticed to come back out. Okay. So as soon as those gigantic waves started entering the coast of India and Sri Lanka, some domestic animals, they already knew what was ahead, what was coming. तो उनको पहले से इंट्यूशन हो जाता है कि क्या होने वाला है, ठीक है? So this is because they, and why we can say that, because they ran out of the dangerous way to somewhere safe. They fled to safety. मतलब वो वहाँ से भाग गए एक safe जगह पर. According to eyewitness accounts, elephants screamed and ran for higher grounds. So elephants, they ran for higher ground as they screamed. The flamingos too left their low-lying breeding grounds. Flamingos भी अपने low-lying breeding ground से कहीं और safe जगह पे चले गए. Zoo animals ran into their shelters and no amount of temptation was able to bring them out. Zoo animals भी जो थे वो अपने shelters में अंदर चले गए और कुछ भी temptation अगर उनको दी, कुछ भी लालच से वो बाहर नहीं आ रहे थे. Could not be enticed to come back out. Even dogs refused to go outdoors. ठीक है. डॉग्स ने भी, डोमेस्टिक जो डॉग्स है, पेट डॉग्स होते हैं, उन्होंने बाहर जाने से बिल्कुल मना कर दिया घर के बाहर. ठीक है, क्योंकि वो ऑलरेडी सब सेंस कर लेते हैं इस डेंजर को. और इनकी इस बिहेवियर से लोगों को भी कई बार ये आइडिया हो जाता है, वो एबल हो जाते हैं अपना को सेव करने में. ठीक है, आगे देखिए. Let's see here now. Many people believe that animals possess a sixth sense. Okay, so this is a sixth sense and know when the earth is going to shake. Some experts believe that animals' more acute hearing helps them to hear or feel the earth's vibration. They can sense an approaching disaster long before humans realize what's going on. We cannot be sure whether animals have a sixth sense or not, but the fact is that giant waves that rolled through the Indian Ocean killed more than 150,000 people in a dozen countries, but not many animals have been reported dead. Okay, now what happened here? It is a common belief, or you can say a common myth among people, that animals are intuitive towards the earth shaking. They have a sixth sense. Okay, when the earth is about to shake. Some experts are of the opinion that they can hear or feel the earth vibration in advance because they possess enhanced acute hearing abilities. So एनिमल्स की इतनी अच्छी हियरिंग एबिलिटी होती है कि वो बहुत दूर से आवाज़ सुन लेते हैं, ठीक है. So that is why they can perceive an approaching disaster a lot earlier than humans. तो उनको इसीलिए ह्यूमन से पहले ही कोई डिजास्टर का पता चल जाता है कि ये कि कुछ बुरा आने वाला है, कुछ बुरा होने वाला है. And it is quite obvious that we can, and we are not sure, okay, that animals are intuitive or they have that sixth sense of the disaster early, or but the evidence quite point towards it. ठीक है, तो वो कह रहे हैं कि हम पक्का 100% श्योर नहीं है, पर जो लोग जब देखते हैं, जब ऑब्जर्व करते हैं एनिमल्स का बिहेवियर उस टाइम पे, तो दैट एविडेंसेस क्वाइट पॉइंट टुवर्ड्स इट ओनली. The fact says that gigantic waves of Indian Ocean took 150,000 human lives, but not many animals were reported dead. क्यों बहुत एनिमल्स नहीं मरे थे? इंसान ही क्यों मरे थे? क्योंकि एनिमल्स को पहले से ही सेंस हो गया था और वो अपनी अपनी सेफ जगहों पर चले गए थे, तो इसलिए वो बच गए थे. ठीक है, और ह्यूमंस को पहले से सेंस नहीं होता है, तो दैट इज वाई इतनी ज़्यादा ह्यूमन लाइफ उस टाइम पर चली गई. ठीक है. Along India's Cuddalore coast, where thousands of people perished, buffaloes, goats, and dogs were found unharmed. The Yala National Park in Sri Lanka is home to a variety of animals, including elephants, leopards, and 130 species of birds. 60 visitors were washed away from the Patanangla beach inside the park, but no animal carcasses were found, except for two water buffaloes. About an hour before the tsunami hit, people at Yala National Park had observed three elephants running away from the Patanangla beach. Okay. So if we talk about India's Cuddalore coast, where the waves took lives of around 1,000 people, animals like buffaloes, goats, and dogs were recovered unharmed. Okay. On the other hand, in Yala National Park in Sri Lanka, which is a home to a variety of animals, including elephants, leopards, and 130 species of birds. So 60 visitors were washed away from here. Okay. What happened? 60 visitors had got taken away by the water while no animals were harmed except just two water buffaloes. A point to be noted here is that Yala National Park serves as a home to a large number of animals like elephants, leopards, okay, and 130 species of birds. And in fact, people present at Yala National Park reported seeing three elephants run away from the Patanangla beach at least an hour before the waves came in. Okay, so they observed all this. So these three animals, they just fled away, they just ran away. Okay. A Sri Lankan gentleman who lives on the coast near Gale said his two dogs would not go for the daily run on the beach. They are usually excited to go on this outing, he said, but on that day they refused to go and most probably saved his life. So a Sri Lankan gentleman also told them about the incident, who lives on the coast near Gale, said his two dogs, his two pet dogs, who go on the daily run on the beach. They daily used to go to run on the beach, but that day they refused. उन्होंने मना कर दिया. मैंने हमको मतलब वो बाहर नहीं जाना चाहते थे. They were not eager to go out from the house. They are usually excited to go on this outing. तो अब वो एनिमल्स बोल के तो नहीं मतलब बोलेंगे ना कि नहीं मुझे बाहर नहीं जाना है. मतलब उन्होंने अपने अपने एक्सप्रेशन से, अपने बिहेवियर से बता दिया था that they are not eager to go out today. But earlier, every day they are so excited to go on this outing. They enjoy this outing. But on that day they refused to go and most probably saved his life as well. The owner's life also. क्योंकि अगर वो बाहर होते तो ओनर भी स्वेप्ट अवे हो जाता वाटर से, वो भी स्वेप्ट अवे हो जाते, राइट. तो तीनों बच गए, दोनों डॉग्स और उनका ओनर. नाउ दिस कॉम्प्रिहेंशन चेक. आंसर यूजिंग अ फ्रेज और अ सेंटेंस. So in the tsunami, 150 people died, right? Along the giant waves that rolled through the Indian Ocean killed more than 150,000 people in a dozen countries, right? but not many people have been reported dead. So that exact count of dead animals is not known as compared to human casualties. Okay, exact count was not known. Then question 2, how many people and animals died in Yala National Park? So 60 visitors, if you remember, were swept off the Patanangla beach inside the Yala National Park. No animal carcasses were found except for just two water buffaloes. Okay. Then third question, what do people say about the elephants of Yala National Park? What happened was the people present at Yala National Park observed three elephants running away from the Patanangla beach about an hour before the tsunami hit that place. About an hour, okay, earlier. Then what did the dogs in Galley do? What did the dogs do? The dogs in Galley refused to go for the daily run on the beach on the day of tsunami hit the coast. Okay. So children, here we come to the end of our chapter, and I will post this exercise in a next video. Okay. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this chapter.